This is Carolina Snowball. She was captured by one of these three men. What is your name, please?
My name is Bill Gray.
My name is Bill Gray.
My name is Bill Gray.
Only one of these men is the real Bill Gray. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Sam Levenson, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and good evening, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Salem Cigarettes. Good evening, panel.
Good evening.
Bud. Hey, everybody's bright and right on their toes tonight. Would you open up your envelope, please, take out your first affidavit, and follow along with me. I, Bill Gray, am Director of Collections and Exhibits for the largest saltwater aquarium in the world, the famous Seaquarium in Miami, Florida. Currently, we have more than 15,000 living sea creatures on exhibit, many of which I have captured myself. Last year, I captured our single most prized possession, a white porpoise called Carolina Snowball. The chase after Snowball lasted several months and was complicated by the fact that the South Carolina legislature passed a law against her capture. We finally netted her in international waters, and she is now living happily at the Seaquarium, the only white porpoise in captivity. Signed, Bill Gray. So here we have the starting off place for tonight's panel. Three gentlemen all claiming to be Captain Bill Gray, the man who captured the world's only white porpoise. So let's start the questioning with the star of the Broadway hit Mary Mary, Tom Poston.
Thank you, Bud. Number two, what's the difference between a porpoise and a dolphin?
There's quite a difference in territory only. In all foreign countries, they're called dolphins. In the United States, they're called porpoises.
Thank you. Number three, what would a bottlenose dolphin be called then in the United States?
A bottlenose dolphin is called the bottlenose. That's what the Snowball, Caroline, was called.
Thank you. Number one, what kind of a fish is this Carolina Snowball?
It's a mammal.
What does that mean, number one?
It's warm-blooded.
And, yeah?
And Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number three, how old is Carolina Snowball?
She's about 8 years old.
Thank you. Number one, are there many snow white porpoises around?
Very few.
Thank you. Number two, how did you take her? Catch her without hurting her?
With a big special built net.
Number three, had you been hunting for her for a long time and had this net specially built just for Carolina Snowball?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Number one, who first spotted Carolina Snowball?
The commercial fishermen off the Carolina coast.
Oh, and number two, who provided the money for your expedition?
Miami Aquarium.
Thank you. Number three, where is the Miami Seaquarium?
Miami.
Sam Levenson. All right, Sam.
Number three, there's a great deal of talk about the intelligence of these porpoises. How do you determine that type of intelligence?
Well, they can talk a little, although they have no vocal cords. It's a squeak.
Number two, I'd like to continue with that. What do their sounds mean? Do they mean anything that you can tell us about?
No, sir.
You don't. Number one, can you give us a sound and tell us what it means?
They squeak, and I think they understand each other.
Do they understand us?
No.
Do you understand me?
Why? Yes.
Kitty.
Number two, how can you tell a porpoise's age?
You cannot tell their age. You have to guess at it.
And how did you guess at Carolina Snowballs?
Well, we heard that she'd been seen as far back as 8 years ago.
Thank you. Number one, we had a gentleman on this show who's teaching porpoises to speak. He can understand them, and they can understand him.
Well, I don't agree.
You don't?
No.
Number three, why did the Carolina legislature pass a law against the capture of this mammal?
Well, there was a little jealousy. They wanted to keep the creature in their own waters.
Ah. Number two, when you made this chase, how long did it take you? How could you plot the course of a fish over a period, I think it says months here?
Well, it took actually over 60 days.
And that's all we have time for. Not even 60 days. Just get to the business of marking your ballots at once, if you will, please. Mark them without change, right now, and without consultation. And as you do so, vote for number 1, number 2,
Right now.
or number 3. Team of challengers will, of course, receive the customary $250 for every incorrect vote indulged in by our astute panelists. All ballots marked?
Yep.
All right. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2. Don't you believe me?
Yes. Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 2, too. Because number 3 has tattoo marks, and I always think that he wouldn't have shown them so that we'd know he was from the sea. And number 2 has a marvelous tan, which you get in Miami, with any luck at all.
Sam?
I voted for number 1 for both her reasons. I've heard them squeak, and I don't understand, and I think that they're reading something into their sounds, and I think this is one of the first men I ever heard who say, I really don't know or doesn't think they know what they're saying to each other.
Kitty?
I voted for number 3. Number 3, I know they fool you on this panel quite often, but I'm a trusting soul, and I believe the tattoo marks meant something unless they were put on by a makeup artist 10 minutes ago.
Or by a porpoise.
And I liked his answers, and I think he looks like a man who would take the trouble to look for a porpoise for several months.
Well, this is really widely split up, panel. 2 for 2, 1 for 1, and 1 for 3. That's as varied as it could possibly be. Let's see how it works out, though, as the chips are down and we learn the truth of the matter as to which one of these gentlemen actually is the one who captured the world's only white porpoise. So will the real Captain Bill Gray please stand up? Number 1, what is your real name, sir, and what do you really do?
My name is Cecil Clavelli, and I'm a photographer.
Also, at one time, one of the better actors in the business and one of the best friends I've ever had. Number 3, what is your real name, and what do you do, sir?
My name is Dave Irwin, and operate Storybook Castle Animal Farm near Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
Check the score. We see very readily there were 2 incorrect votes, and at $250 each, that's a total of $500, gentlemen. And if you had fun to go with it, who could do better than that? That comes your way through the courtesy of Salem Cigarettes, and a carton of Salem's will be waiting for you on your way out. Thank you again for being with us. Hope you had fun. Goodbye, and God bless you. Now, in the next 60 seconds, we invite you to come with us into the land of springtime. Just watch this beautiful film. Now, panel, let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Nancy Vonderheide. My name is Nancy Vonderheide.
My name is Nancy Vonderheide.
Will you please follow along as I read from this affidavit, panel? I, Nancy Vonderheide, am a champion archer. The first time I shot an arrow was just 4 years ago. Recently, within a space of only 13 months, I won the U.S. National Championship, the World Championship, and the International Championship. I am the only person, male or female, ever to win this grand slam of archery. Signed, Nancy Vonderheide. Oh, panel, you heard these 3 young ladies, as did I. Claim to be Nancy Vonderheide, champion archer 3 times. Let's start this examination with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Thank you, Bud. Number 1, what's a kiss button?
What is a kiss button?
Yeah.
A kiss button is a little thing on the string. It's a checking point that comes back to your mouth.
Number 2, does it hurt when it comes back to your mouth?
No, it's just a measuring place.
I see. Number 3, do you have 20/20 vision?
Yes.
When did you find that out? You'd have to have it for archery, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Number 1, how far do you stand from the target?
There are different ranges.
Number 2, where does the World Championship take place?
Oslo.
Oslo. Number 3, what is Oslo the capital of?
Norway.
Number 1, are all bows standard size?
No.
Number 2, how long is your bow?
Tom.
Oh, it's my turn. Gee, that was great, Kitty. A kiss button, I love that. Number 2, what does knocking mean?
Knocking is placing the knock in the bow of the arrow. In the string of the...
Okay. I hope you're not confused, because you just lost my vote there with that. Number 3, where does the arrow go in your hand?
What do you mean?
Well, you have the arrow in your hand at some time when you're shooting the bow and arrow, don't you? Where does it fit in your hand, in your fingers?
Well, there's three fingers here.
And where does the arrow fit?
In your fingers.
Top, bottom, middle, second, first, third?
I don't understand your question.
Well, the arrow can't be between all of your fingers, can it?
Well, these 3 fingers.
Okay. And,
Peggy.
He sounds like Robin Hood. Number 3, how many rings in a target? Number 3, dear.
Oh.
How many rings in a target?
Well, there's a gold one, a red one, a blue one, a black one, and a white one.
5 rings then, right? Okay, thank you. Number 1, who wrote the poem that started this way? I shot an arrow into the air.
I don't know, I'm sorry.
Number 2, do you?
No, I don't.
Number 3?
No.
You mean with one of them?
No. Number 1, what is the quick... Longfellow did, but I thought maybe somebody would know it because of the arrows. Number 1, what's it...
Sam.
Oh, you.
I didn't do anything.
You did it to yourself.
Sam Levenson.
Let me ask a nasty one. Number 2, how do you spell Van der Heide?
Vonderheide.
Good. And number 1, quickly?
Vonderheide.
Oh, I couldn't fall. Number 3, who manufactures bows and arrows in the United States?
Hon, I'm not permitted to give out that type of information.
Well, I withdraw the question. Number 3, which muscles come into play when you are shooting an arrow?
Well, actually, you use all of your muscles, because you have to stand.
You know the names of any of these muscles?
That's all the time we have, I'm sorry to say. So take your muscles and put them to work marking your ballots, if you will, panel. Mark them at once, without change, and no consultation permitted.
What are you smiling at?
Mark your ballots. Voting for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All right, all ballots marked? Very well. Tom, this time, what is your choice?
This time it's number 1. I don't really know why. They're awfully good tonight, Bud. I just voted for number 1. I guess you'd have to say I guessed.
Very well. Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 1 as well. And the reason I voted for number 1 is I bet all that exercise would give her a very strong neck. And she's got a swell, strong-looking neck, and that's why I voted for her.
All right. Sam.
She scares me. I think that number 3 is so muscular and thin and tight because she practices this art. She gave me very good answers.
Kitty.
I voted for number 3, too. I think that I really know very little about archery, but I think it's number 3.
So, 2 for 1 and 2 for 3. It's another split like the last time. Let's see who did what this time. It isn't completely split like it was in the first round, but let's see as we stare truth smack in the eye and draw our own bead on it with our bow and arrow and find out which of these young ladies actually is the Grand Slam champion archer. So will the real Nancy Van der Heide please stand up?
That's number 1.
Congratulations, young lady. Say that again. I think you're entitled to say that. What did you say?
I said I do not have a strong neck.
I don't mean that it's ugly. I thought it was pretty. I mean, it's a compliment.
You mean it was pretty strong?
No, just a strong necker.
That's a strong necker.
Good necker, that's all.
Number 2, may we have your real name and what you really do, please?
My name is Heide Offenberger, and I work at the Armstrong Product Center.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
I'm an exotic dancer, and I work for the Brass Rail in Milwaukee.
Wait a minute. What is
My
your name?
name is Miss Robin Hood.
Demonstration there, Bob?
Huh?
A little demonstration?
A little demonstration of which?
Of her exotic
Of
dance?
knocking? All right. Well, you know already, ladies, I'm sure that you also had 2 incorrect this time, and that means, of course, at $250 each, that's $500. That comes to you from Salem Cigarettes with their compliments as well as a gift carton of all of their nice cigarettes. So we thank you for being with us and hope you had as good a time as you seemed to. You brought us a nice one. Good night, and God bless you. Nancy von der Heide is an amateur athlete, and therefore she cannot accept her prize money. So her winnings will go to the National Arching Association's FITA Fund. So, now, everyone, let's relax for just a minute and take a look at this delightful film and discover a new world of springtime. We bring you our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Arthur Froemmer.
My name is Arthur Froemmer.
My name is Arthur Froemmer.
Again, panel, may I ask you to follow along with your copies of this affidavit? I, Arthur Froemmer, am the author of America's largest selling travel book. It is called Europe on $5 a Day. And in it, I list and discuss comfortable but reasonable hotels, inexpensive restaurants, and budget shopping bargains. The book contains a few fundamental rules for economy touring abroad and is designed to dispel the notion that European travel has to cost a small fortune. As a matter of fact, for each of the 17 cities covered, I make suggestions which can cut a person's outlay to $4 or even $3 a day, including both room and meals. Signed, Arthur Froemmer. This time, panel, we bring you 3 gentlemen, each one claiming to be the same one, namely Arthur Froemmer, author of America's best-selling travel book. So let's start this round with our world traveler, Sam Levenson. Sam?
Well, willing to start tonight. Number 2, what is the value of the French mark today?
I never heard of it.
I'm sorry. I mean the German mark. The German mark today.
They're approximately 4 to a dollar.
4 to a dollar. How about the, I'll stay with number 2 for a minute. How about the Spanish peso? How much is that worth in American money?
It's the peseta.
Peseta?
60 to 59.8 exactly in New York.
Boy.
Right, and what is the British pound today?
$2.80.
Uh-huh. Number 2, what would be an inexpensive trip to France by air alone for me? Number 3.
Number 3?
Number 3, yeah.
The regular jet fare is $530
Round trip.
Kitty.
Number 1, I'm delighted to talk to you because I intend to go to Europe and I'd like to know how to do it on $3 or $4 or $5 a day. Where does the Train Bleu start and where does it go, the blue train?
It runs from Paris to Madrid.
Number 3, where does the Oriental Express go?
Starts from Paris and ends in Vienna.
Number 3, what is the capital of Belgrade? I mean, what is the capital of well, let's say it differently. What's the capital of Bulgaria? Number 2.
Rijeka.
Huh?
Sorry,
Number 2.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Capital of Bulgaria. Do you know the capital of Bulgaria, number 3?
I'm sorry, I don't.
You don't. Number 1, you don't know either?
No, I don't.
That's interesting.
Tom.
Nobody goes there.
Gee, I'd like to know myself. I'd like to know how to live on $5 a day in America. If any of you guys want to get smart, you'll write a book like that. Number 3, what about Paris? Can you get by with $5 a day in Paris?
I think you can get by easily in Paris. The left bank of Paris has very many moderately priced hotels and restaurants.
Thank you. Number 1, where is Juan Le Pen?
On the Riviera.
Whereabouts, do you know?
West of Cannes and Nice.
Thank you. Number 2, what is the Grand Corniche and the Moyen Corniche? I bet you know.
Yes, I do. Do you want me to answer?
Yeah. He knows everything. What else do you know?
Peggy.
Thank you. Number 1, there is another way to go by air that you can save money, another airline. Which airline is that?
Icelandic.
Thank you. Number 2, what is the British railroads give you a bargain thing? Would you explain that to me in one sentence?
It's cheaper if you buy what amounts to a season ticket. You can do the same thing for all the European railways with the Eurail Pass.
Thank you. Number 3, what is a parador?
A parador is a government-sponsored castle in Spain.
Thank you. There's one in the north of Spain, number 1. Would you please tell me what it is? It's near Santander.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Number 2, do you know?
Right, that's all the time we have,
my God.
unfortunately. You're going to have to mark your ballots at once, without change and without consultation, of course, as you vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All voting ended?
No contest.
All ballots marked. Tom, which one did you select this time?
Well, I had a vote for number 2. Even if he isn't the right one, look how smart he is. My gosh, he knew everything. Unless those things were not true. I bet he did know what the Grand and the Moyen Corniche were, too. I know he did.
Well, I don't think it was number 2 because that wasn't the right answer to the last one I asked.
What did you want to ask?
I forget now. But I voted for number 3 because I thought he knew an awful lot, but number 1 knows too.
Yeah,
But anyway, I
sure
went
do.
with 3.
They all know.
All right, Sam
That's
Levenson.
Robin Hood here. I was very much impressed by number 2, who even corrected me when I threw him peso. He changed it to peseta, which is pretty close.
And you taught Spanish, didn't you?
Yeah.
Kitty.
Well, I felt one had to vote for number 2. However, I must say quickly, I'd go to Europe with any of the 3 of them because
Watch
they
it.
really know what they're talking about.
All right, there we go again. This time.
Number 3 said that the Oriental Express went to Vienna, and it goes all the way to Constantinople, I think.
Oh, no, then it's got to be 1.
He wants to change the vote.
3 for 2 and 1 for 3. You're closer to unanimity than you have at any time been tonight, panel, have been at any time tonight. So let's find out immediately, without any further delay, which one of these gentlemen actually is the author of the best-selling travel book in America. Will the real Arthur Froemmer please stand up? It what?
Change in Vienna because you need a visa to keep going all the way through Bulgaria.
Oh,
to
that's
Constantinople.
limited. See there. Number 1, what is your real name, sir? What do you really do?
My name is Joe Wetzel. I work for the Ivel Corporation Exhibit Designers.
Thank you, sir. Huh? Well, number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is George Clark. I'm a resident in surgery at Mount Sinai Hospital, and I've never been to Europe.
All I can say is with that much knowledge about other things, you must be a pretty darn good surgeon. I'd be very content under your care, I'm sure. Very well, the score shows this time you got the highest for tonight. There were 3 incorrect. And at $250 each, that not only gives a nice fat total, but a very easy divide between the 2 of you. 3 of you, I should say. That's $750, of course. And thank you for bringing us such a very nice and active and exciting round. That comes to you, of course, from Salem Cigarettes, as does a carton of Salem's on your way out. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us. Good night. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. God bless you. I guess that's it for tonight. May I remind you once again, please, that Radio Free Europe's daily broadcasts bring hope for the future to some 80 million once free men and women behind the Iron Curtain now. So support Radio Free Europe, please. Final announcements. Peggy Cass got all 3 right tonight. So good night, panel. Good night. Don't forget to join us again next week at the same time, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon on our daytime show. And in the meantime, speaking for Salem Cigarettes, may I remind you to tell the truth. Good night.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. has been brought to you tonight by Salem, the cigarette that refreshes your taste. Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. This program was pre-recorded.